Hi and welcome to the Malat cookery channel. So today I'm making Italian wreath bread. To be honest, I don't really know what this bread is actually called. I've seen it called so many different things. I've made it before. It's absolutely delicious and it is quite easy to make. Two of the most important things really. So I'm calling this Italian wreath bread, but you might know it as something completely different. As usual, a full list of ingredients will be given at the end of the video. Let's have a look at those ingredients now and anything else we're going to need for today. So the ingredients list for this recipe: 700 grams of strong flour or bread flour, 1 7-gram sachet of fast action dried yeast, teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of sugar, about 450 millilitres of slightly warm water. So this dough is going to be about 65% hydration. About 4 or 5 tablespoons of olive oil. Right, the rest of the ingredients, I've got 1 red bell pepper which has been diced. We've got some green pesto, about a tablespoon of garlic granules. You can use fresh garlic, just make sure it's really finely chopped. About 3 cloves will do. And we're going to use some grated cheddar cheese as well. And then just to finish off, haven't got it here, but we're going to be using an egg with a little bit of milk just to create an egg wash to go over the bread just before it goes into the oven. To make the bread dough, I'm using a food mixer with a dough hook. So I've got the flour in the bowl, adding in our sugar and salt. Just mix that together. Then our dried yeast, again mix that in. Our 4 or 5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, and again just give that a mix in. Dough hook in place. So what I'm going to do now is going to have the machine on a slow speed setting to begin with, and then increase the speed while I'm adding the water. And what we'd like is a dough which is quite a good hydration. So on a low speed setting on the mixer, the dough sticks to the bottom of the bowl. Anything higher than a middle speed setting, the dough starts to come away from the bottom of the bowl. But again, if the speed is dropped slightly, it starts to stick again. That's my way anyway of making sure I've got the correct hydration for this particular type of dough. Okay, so 450 millilitres of warm water is absolutely ideal for this. Quite unusual to get it absolutely spot on. So what I'm going to do now is middle speed setting for the mixer and leave this going for about 10 minutes. Okay, so this is our dough. Just going to shape it. I've got a large bowl, a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of the bowl, stop the dough from sticking. So going to cover this now with cling film or food wrap and leave in a warm part of the house until it's doubled in size. Quite cold today, house is. sort of cooler than it would normally be, so it's going to take probably about 50 minutes. Right, so this is where we're at. Doubled in size. Next thing to do is I'm going to place it onto this clean work surface and then roll it out to about 4 or 5 millimeters thick. It should be ending up with a piece of dough about 600 millimeters by about 400 millimeters, or 60 centimeters by 40 centimeters. Right, so this is where we're at. Try and get this as uniform as possible, and then you'll end up with a better roll, which you'll see in a minute. And I'm just going to put a thin layer of pesto over the base and just leave about a 2 centimeter gap around the edge of the dough. So I'm just using a basic palette knife for this. So once we've done that, we take our cheddar cheese and just grate some cheddar cheese over the pesto. The garlic. And then finally the red bell pepper. Next thing I want to do is just to roll this up. So fold over this edge. And again. And then just get this into a fairly tight roll. Okay, so once I've got the roll like that, the next thing to do, take a large sharp knife and we're going to cut all the way through down the centre. So once you've done that, you need to take each piece and just turn it so that the cut surface is uppermost on both. Like that. Right, so once we get to this stage, all we want to do then is just almost like plait these over one on top of the other. So we'll start at this end. Like that. And then just carry it on. It's a bit tricky, but it can be done. So we get to that. And then bring these both round, move it so that, see that? And then join these two ends together and plait these as well. So again, just one on top of the other, like that. So we've got two ends showing, and just pinch those in. The oven on to 180 degrees centigrade, so that's now up to temperature. You need to transfer this into a baking tray which has been floured so it doesn't stick. 2 people, this would be quite easy. I'm going to use a pizza peel because I'm on my own. And then into there. Right, so shake this out again. Put some of that back in. Last thing before it goes into the oven. Again, that shape isn't great. Take our egg wash, so this is medium free range egg with a little bit of milk, and we just want to put that over the top. And especially this part, which is basically just bread, to get a nice golden colour. And I'm going to be placing this into the middle part of the oven. And cooking time wise, so 180 degrees centigrade in my particular oven, I'm looking at 35 minutes for this to be done. Obviously that's only a guide. Hopefully you'll know your oven and how well it performs. Okay, that's it.